The sun rose through the window and peered in between the curtains. It was a bright spring morning, and my brother Colin and I were up early. We shared a bedroom and a playroom at the time, so when one of us got up, the other did as well. Soon after we woke, the noise from our feet running about would wake our parents, and they would begin the inevitable struggle of trying to entertain an 11 and 13-year-old for an entire day. Saturday was the best day of the week because our parents would take us out all day, as opposed to Sunday, which was strictly for cleaning the house. This Saturday, we met with our grandparents at the mall to walk around and shop. For Colin and I, this meant we would at least get some toys from Toys R Us. We walked into the mall and were headed down the main hallway when a scent hit my nose, unlike any other. Sweet and delicious, the pretzel stand always smelled delightful. On an empty stomach, the smell from the pretzel stand was like a siren call, luring me into the sweet glaze of the cinnamon pretzels. As I drifted towards the pretzel stand, my mother yanked me out of my trance and said, "Absolutely not, mister. You haven't even had breakfast yet," in her stern, motherly voice. Now I was just a grumpy child, and without a pretzel, there was no hope in fixing my mood. I put on my sour face and reluctantly walked with them past the pretzel stand. This was not a good start to my morning. Luckily, right past the pretzel stand was the pet store, which was called Big Al's Pet Emporium. Let me tell you, Al was certainly big, and he had every pet you could imagine. When Colin and I entered the store, we immediately ran to the puppies, because they were the cutest things ever. What we did not know at the time was that keeping puppies like this was extremely unethical. Luckily, our parents knew better than us and guided us to the rodent section, where we fell in love with the hamsters. Not exactly sure why, but the mix of tiny bodies and large amounts of fluff probably did it. They were also the cheapest option. However, our parents always made it clear that we were only looking. Even when they said this, Colin and I knew one day we would be able to get one. We hoped. Today was not that day. Mom and Dad dragged us out of the store, and we were livid. We kept explaining how we would take care of them and how they would never have to worry about them. This was probably the biggest lie I've ever told, but we would say anything just to take home one of these furry hamsters home. For the rest of the day, my brother was furious. He refused to do anything at home. He just wanted to mope and lie around, hoping my parents would fix his sadness by giving him what he wanted. I helped my mom get groceries, which was kind of our thing. As a child, I liked all sorts of weird things. I would go grocery shopping with my mom and actually enjoy it. I would go to my dad's office and help him sometimes, which I also found super interesting. I had a strange fascination with office supplies, which I still find interesting to this day. While I was at the store with my mom, I snuck a notebook into the cart and a pack of pens. At the time, I was in middle school, so all my school supplies were still at the school. This could not wait. When I got home, I quickly snuck the notebook and pens into my room and started writing. I knew that my brother and I could beg all we wanted, but that it would not work. I took matters into my own hands and sat in my bed writing out everything we would need to get for the hamsters. I also explained what lessons they would teach us and how they would make us more responsible. While I was writing, my mother barged in and yelled, "Dinner time, boys, let's go." I got up and tucked the notebook under my pillow. What I was doing felt wrong, yet necessary. We went to dinner at a steakhouse, and my brother was still enraged. He scribbled all over his kids' menu and spilt his drink. My parents were furious and sent us back to our room the second we got home. I went right back to work writing why we needed these hamsters. After 2 hours of painstaking work, my masterpiece was finished. I quietly left the room without walking by my brother and crept down the stairs, which was difficult considering each step creaked. Needless to say, I'm not a ninja, and my parents were waiting for me in the basement. I sat next to my mom on the leather couch and tried to get comfortable. I despised that couch. It was always freezing and uncomfortable. "What's the matter, Brandon?" my mom asked. "I wrote something for you," I said timidly. She opened the folded up sheet of wide-ruled paper and read the chicken scratch that made up my letter. It took her a minute, though. She got through it and looked confused. I was scared I didn't write something right or that I was in trouble. "Why did you write this, Brandon?" she said. "I really wanted them, Mom, and I thought this would help," I said to her even more timidly than before. She gave me a big hug and explained that tomorrow we would go back to the pet store and get a hamster, because I understood what care would go into them. She explained that you should never impulsively buy pets because they are living too. They must be loved at all times, which means you have to be ready for them. My letter showed her that I was ready for a pet. It wasn't even the words on the page or the way I wrote. It was just the fact that I took the time to figure out what I was talking about. Since then, I've understood the importance of writing, not only as a tool for communication, but also as a tool for reflection. Words are only as strong as the mind behind them. The words I write are useless if the intent behind them are flawed. With my brother, he was not able to communicate effectively and therefore did not get what he wanted. If you communicate effectively, not only will you get what you want, but you will also have the time to think about what you really want. When writing the letter to my mom, I kept thinking about how messy hamsters were and all the cleaning that would be involved. I knew once I wrote it all down that I thought I could handle it. If I didn't write it down, I would have been blindsided by the amount of care they required. The importance of writing has stuck with me since this, and I still write out pros and cons lists to this day to help me keep good decisions and to effectively communicate what I am looking for to others.